He's won the ball. Play on. Good evening, you beautiful bunch of people, and welcome back to Football This Week, which is hopefully on the actual correct day this time. Again, don't quote me on that, but I think it is. Last week, as you may have known, this series got absolutely yeeted by FIFA, the organisation. Not their game. That would have been quite awkward, given that's what this channel is literally built on. But they decided to copyright claim me. The last episode was actually uploaded on Friday, but I had to take it down. I was away, so I couldn't re-upload it straight away, so it ended up coming out on Monday. I apologize for that. So I guess I'm just not allowed to mention anything FIFA related in this video. Oh, for crying out loud. On to the actual football news, and the Under-21 European Championships are underway, and it looks like England's youngsters are on course to match their senior counterparts on the bottle job front. England went 1-0 up thanks to a disgracefully good goal from Manchester City's Phil Foden. It was a solo effort, dribbling past multiple players before nicely and calmly putting the ball into the back of the net. You know what I've just realised about Phil Foden? He doesn't look like a Phil at all. If you think of all the Phils, you know. Phil Mitchell from EastEnders, Prince Philip, I don't know how Phil Mitchell came before him, but okay. Phil, who owns your local Londis, I don't know. None of them, Phil Foden does not look like any of them. But the game fell apart just after the hour mark when Hamza Chowdhury decided to end someone's career in the penalty area. Jesus Christ, more like Hamza Kapowdery, am I right? Unsurprisingly, the Leicester youngster was red carded for this. I don't know why at 1-0 up you decide to lunge in like that in the area, but we move. I can only imagine the crippling sadness and feeling of loss that he must be experiencing right now. Not only to let the team down, but really to let the nation as a whole down as well through a silly decision. But at the same time, he's got a wavy haircut, so who's the real winner out of this situation? To be honest, it's not even that deep. We'll probably still qualify. We should beat Romania and Croatia, get through to the next round, and it'll all be forgotten anyway. But France did score two very disappointing and late goals. I mean, they didn't. Technically, Aaron Wan-Bissaka scored one of them, but we'll forget about that. I can only imagine Diogo Dalot was absolutely delirious seeing that one go in. And overall, there were more English tears than the average Deji video. Elsewhere, Kevin De Bruyne put this picture of him launching his baby through a swimming pool on Insta this week. I honestly wish I could explain it. I don't understand why he's done this. Why are you yeeting your baby across the other side of the pool? To be honest, he's got to be careful. Zinchenko's their only fully fit left back. Where does this baby even land? Surely it's just going to land in the water. Or is he throwing the kid to someone else? Regardless, it begs the question as to what else is going on. If he's doing basketball throws, is he doing table slam dunks? What about bowling? WWE table ladders and chairs. Where does it end? Elsewhere, Michel Platini's being investigated into the awarding of the Qatar World Cup for corruption. The former UEFA president and former candidate for president of FIFA... Not again, I swear to God. Was questioned over how FIFA awarded the World Cup for 2022 to Qatar. Are we really surprised? Are we actually shocked there could have been some kind of corruption involved here? Mr. Platini, with all due respect, the temperatures are way too hot for footballers to be able to cope with playing. The country doesn't particularly have any sort of footballing heritage. There's extremely limited human rights laws for the actual workers who'll be building the stadiums and overseeing the World Cup. And I can't lie, there's a lot of political tension there as well. They've given us like £12.50 for it. Okay, but all I'm saying is, listen, I'm a big man, all right? And I've always wanted to play the guitar, so this works fine. No, it's I give up. Back to the Women's World Cup, and Thailand needed some good news after being beaten 13-0 by USA last week. And they got that in the form of a goal. Their first ever goal against a team ranked higher than them at a Women's World Cup. It sparked tears on the touchline from the coach. I mean, I think they were like 5-0 down, but who cares? To be honest, it was just really nice and heartwarming to watch. Back in 2017, the Thai Women's League actually got disbanded for like over a year because there just wasn't enough people to actually occupy it. I mean, they still got absolutely demolished, but we can forget about that. They were slapped, but they were happy. You could argue they were happy slapped. No, That can never be said again. Niran, you need to stop. Elsewhere, the Lionesses beat Argentina, and Brazil's Marta broke a record of sorts. Technically, she became the person who scored the most goals at World Cups ever, beating the likes of Miroslav Klose, but it's very difficult to compare men and women's football. It brought about this tweet, which brought about some interesting responses. I once scored 9 in one match. I must be the greatest ever goal scorer in English football history. May as well compare a lower division goal scorer to a Premier League goal scorer. She doesn't count. I hope this helps. Jacob Mate, she's 33. I highly doubt by now that she hasn't learned how to count. Joe Hart's got a new tattoo, and it looks as if he hasn't unlocked his right shoulder yet. Over in Italy, Andrea Pirlo is suing a lookalike of himself who's been going around clothing shops pretending to be him in order to get free clothing. I mean, he's done well, to be fair. Look at the picture. He looks exactly like him. Meanwhile, there's been a new sport created. It's called Disco Ball, and it's quite interesting. What is going on here? I'm honestly watching this back, and I'm in utter amazement. It's the strangest thing I think I've ever seen, and I've seen some things. What even are the rules to this game? So yeah, before making a pass, if everyone could just thrust their pelvis back and forth, that'd be appreciated. Yeah, that's offside to me. What do you mean? I was behind the final defender. I don't understand. Yeah, but at no point whilst making your run did you do a Fortnite dance, so I'm afraid I'm gonna have to rule it out. But now, boys and girls, it's time for the FNG transfer roundup. Our first story comes in the form of Paul Pogba, who's announced he wants to leave Manchester United. He stated that he needs a new challenge. We now cross live to footage of him trying to complete his existing one. As you can see, a truly fruitful adventure. Over in Germany, Mats Hummels has now re-signed for Borussia Dortmund. That means his career path has been Bayern Munich to Borussia Dortmund, back to Bayern Munich, and then back to Borussia Dortmund. The man's as indecisive as Alex Iwobi in the final third. And lastly, Kylian Mbappe has been linked with a move to Liverpool because he met up with LeBron James, who was wearing a Liverpool hat. Right, honestly, who's even making these transfer rumours anymore? Now, though, it is time for Still 0-0, and that, of course, is the Sunday League portion of this series. And I know I say it literally every single week, but these are some of my favourite Sunday League stories ever. First of all, we've got the story of Duck Pond FC, who won their amateur league and paid $4,000 to have an open bus tour of their town. It's amazing. No one went. The streets were completely empty. Must refrain from a Man City joke. Must refrain from a Man City joke. But to be honest, who cares? It looks like they had a solid time regardless. And then the second story is that a random Sunday League side put their goalkeeper up front. As you do, I don't know why. Stuart Pearce walked so that Sunday League could run. And the guy not only did bits, he actually scored a hat-trick. I mean, the first 2 goals were alright, the second one was a pretty tidy finish, but the third goal was an absolute banger. His nickname is Daryl the Barrel, so Daryl, mate, fair play. Take a bow. Urine test for the new Swansea manager needed immediately. Alright, we've got a Newcastle fan here. Schoolboy's drawing helped police track down man trying to get into school. Alright, fair enough. I mean, that's a sick piece of news. Fair play to Ryan. That's some good stuff from him. It's like a photograph. You can barely even tell it's a drawing. I can literally picture the scene now. A group of Liverpool fans from Africa decided to have their own mock-up bus tour as well. They created a Champions League trophy, got in a van and just drove about. They'll be happy they're not Chelsea fans. Eden Hazard has left, and now apparently Ross Barkley is the face of Chelsea. It's a depressing time for the Blues, I think it's fair to say. And finally, over in Macau, Jesus, we really are international. international these days. A game in their FA Cup ended 21-18 because players were allowed to score unchallenged. All the players in the game were basically using it as a protest because their national team wasn't allowed to go and face Sri Lanka in a World Cup qualifier for 2022. It was down to security reasons, but they weren't allowed to travel even though they had a 1-0 aggregate lead. So in order to protest, they basically just allowed each other to score loads of goals in a game. I don't see why not. What else are you gonna do? Apparently even one of the goalkeepers scored and the scoreboard physically stopped working before the final goal went in. That's when you know you've done your job. That though is it for football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed yet another hectic one. I've got some bad news though. There will not be an episode of FTW next week. I was expecting some booing. I don't usually... Oh, okay, there it is. Basically, I'm on holiday, so I can't physically record one because I won't be here to see the news, but it will return after that. I do apologize, and I promise it'll be back to normal after that. If you've enjoyed this one, though, slap a like on it, subscribe if you're new, and you can follow me on social media as well. It's at the official FNG on Insta and on Twitter. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a great day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.